Hi everyone. In this video, I'm going to cover the basics of pet creation. What I mean by that is the allocation of points that your pet earns for leveling up and where to put those points. I'm also going to cover some pet abilities and why you should teach your pet some abilities and also know to save your ability scrolls to use on a different pet. The information in this video is something that everyone should definitely know. Creating pets is not as easy as you might think. It's very easy to make mistakes when creating your pet. The purpose of this video is to help you in understanding what you should do and what to avoid doing when creating a pet. Just to be clear, there's nothing wrong with experimenting and making mistakes because it's all a part of the learning process. It's actually through experimenting and making mistakes that you'll learn what works for you and how you want your pet to be. So let's get started. For each level that your pet gains, it will have points that can be distributed. There's two types of points: core stats and elemental stats. What are core stats? Well, core stats is strength, intelligence, heart, and endurance. Strength will make your pet stronger so it can wield stronger weapons that do physical damage. Intelligence will allow your pet to use weapons that are used for casting spells, and it'll also increase how much mana your pet has. Heart will increase how much HP your pet has, and endurance will increase the amount of stamina your pet has. Okay, so what's elemental stats? That would be light, fire, lightning, dark, water, and earth. I'll come back to this a little bit later. All of these are valuable in that they're used for different things, so you want to have the right balance for your pet type and for your playstyle. A common mistake that a lot of new players make is, oh, I want my pet to be really strong. Well, yeah, so does everyone else, which leads into, don't do this. Why do I say don't do this? I'll illustrate this with my blue pet, Peaches. This is a standard blue jelly pet that you start with. This pet has strengths and weaknesses just like all other pets. Here's what happens when you put all your points into strength. And here's what will happen in a fight with an all-strength pet. This is definitely not what you want. I know what you're thinking. I don't have any equipment on this pet, but I'm doing this to help get my point across. So why did this fail? Because it has 32 HP and can die easily in 1 or 2 hits. HP is really important for all types of pets. Now this is what happens when I allocate the points in a better usage for this specific pet type. So how did I know what to put where? Well, that's easy. The equipment that I intend to use tells me what's needed. Also, the spells for this pet have requirements to be able to learn them and to upgrade each one of them. Okay, so how do I know this is the right equipment for this pet? And how do I know that this is the right abilities to be teaching this pet? That's where pet growth comes into play. So pet growth is the key to it all, and what you should be looking at before you make a decision that you're going to regret at a later time. What does the pet growth on this pet mean? Well, let's look at it. Strength, very little. Heart, it's almost at the halfway point, not quite though. Intelligence, similar to heart. Endurance, a little bit more than strength, not as much as heart and intelligence. Light element, not so great. Dark element, extremely low. Fire element, extremely low. Water element is the highest stat that this pet has. Element lightning, not so much. Earth, not so much. So what really stands out here? I can see water being the highest one, heart and intelligence tied for second, and endurance being third. That means that those are the stats you should be working with. Those are the stats that you should be looking at. Those are the stats that will make your pet a lot more stronger. You don't want to be building on your pet's weaknesses, but on its strengths, because as I said before, all pets have weaknesses and all pets have strengths. So now that we have the base stats set to what we like, how well will our pet do in a fight? Let's see how the fight goes. You can see the problem, right? We have no damage that's enough to hurt the enemy. So why don't we have any damage? Damage for this type of pet comes from the abilities that this pet can learn. Meaning, you need to get those scrolls to use them on your pet. Since this pet has its highest elemental alignment with water, that's what we're going to teach it. Water type of abilities. Nearly all abilities have requirements to learn and to be able to upgrade the ability to the next level. Here's the abilities that I've taught Peaches, and I'm going to show you that abilities are affected by elemental stat points. I have no items equipped and all my abilities are currently level 1 and I can still win this fight. So let's see what happens when I put all of my elemental points into the water element. Why would I do this? Because I know I'm not going to be using any other elements with this pet. You see that just by increasing my pet's water element, my pet does more damage with its water abilities, but my physical attack damage doesn't change at all. Now let's see what happens when I upgrade these abilities to the current maximum level that they will go. Not only does the abilities do more damage, but my elemental water stats enhance the damage done, and I still have no equipment on this pet. Let's put on some equipment and see what kind of damage we can do now. By following these instructions, now we can really see what the true potential of this specific pet type is. We've covered core stats, elemental stats, and some abilities. This should help you in creation of your starter pet and be a solid foundation for the more rare type of pets that you'll come across in the future. Don't be afraid to experiment because you can always use a magic capsule to reset everything and start over.